The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. To forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you, the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by you.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back in the land of the dawn as we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. And today is week 4, day 1. It's going to be King of the Hill, and the rules are simple. It's going to be first come, first serve, best of 1, with the winning team staying on Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Got a good matchup coming up today as we are going to be having Nefarious versus the Elite 10. I'm excited to see what both these teams bring to the table as they are some vets inside of the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy.
We got Nefarious up against the Elite 10. We seen the matchup in that scrim last week, right, on Thursday or Tuesday, I believe, in that best of 3. Nefarious coming out on top on Elite 10 with that reverse sweep. So a little bit of a revenge arc, right, from Elite 10, looking to maybe take this first win in King of the Hill up against Nefarious. But we do know Nefarious, right, one of those winning teams. And one of the first teams to set those early records, right, before Ackerman came through and shattered everyone's record in one night. But speaking of things tonight, we are going to go ahead and transition over to the draft as the first ban will be coming out from the side of Nefarious.
And there it goes, taking out that Fanny. Definitely something hard to deal with in the land of the dawn, and not something you want to go up against, especially with the amount of early game presence Fanny can kind of provide for your team. So a wise decision indeed, something we typically see when you have the first ban in the first phase of the draft. So Nefarious already, taking it strong in terms of what they need to take off of the board. But speaking about pickoffs, we are seeing Kaja getting taken down by the side of Elite 10, and that's another smart answer. We know how well Kaja can kind of provide that CC. Running that XP lane has very minimal counters that can really go up against him in that XP lane right now. And is also a good flex pick. So not something you really want to slide into the hands of Nefarious, because that's going to be hard to counter, and they need to, going forward, continue to draft with this pace. But I'm liking it from both sides. Like we said, we are seeing NA meta on its way, definitely forming. The Fanny, kind of typical, the Kaja as well. But the question is, for Elite 10, who do you take out next? And it looks like they are going to take out that Leslie.
They do take out the Leslie, and speaking of things to take out, right, maybe for the side of Nefarious, maybe some utility. We know they like to put utility in the jungle in their hands, right? Also, even in that XP lane, we've seen Azumi kind of flexing out the things like Fredrin, right, straying away from things like the Benedetta, a little more utility in those team fights, more CC, a heavy frontline presence. We know Nefarious has been running that 3-man frontline with picks like the Grok, the Fredrin, Akai, or an Atlas in there somewhere as well to combo it. They've definitely been very leaning towards that frontline capability and just leaving the damage in the hands of their mid laner and gold lane inside Nefarious. So I'd like to see E10 maybe not in these first bans, but as we transition over to the second phase, maybe ban out some of those options that they like to take to complete that great wall that they love to play behind.
Yeah, taking out that joy, something we've kind of seen more commonly than not. Like you said, I doubt there'll ever be a day when we see Joy kind of step into the land of the Dawn. But so far, right? Joy, a wise decision, but when you kind of ban that out on your side, you're opening up a lot of opportunity for the side of Nefarious, as we do know that Martis is still in play, and so is that Leomord. And the question is, which one do you take? Valentina, not too bad for the side of Nefarious. I would have kind of maybe tried to prioritize it, but it's not the worst option, right? If they take it off the board, it'll kind of confirm one of these two meta picks from them to choose from, that Martis or that Leomord, without having to give two meta picks into the hands of Elite 10. So I kind of like this right now, the way it's going from the side of Nefarious. And the question is, what is the response from Elite 10? And they are going to go ahead and take out that Carmilla, another top meta pick that we have seen time and time again dominate inside of these matches. So far, textbook. It's definitely high IQ from both sides, and this is what we want to see as teams improving their drafts as we progress through the weeks in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. As the whole purpose of this is for practice for MLBB, NA, and PLs. So I just love to see it. We're definitely seeing these teams prepare, do their homework, and be able to properly draft to not allow a lot of opportunity into the enemy's hands. But speaking of hands, looks like in both of them, you got a guitar, and this is that Martis that we were talking about. One of those hard junglers to deal with, especially with those motor coils for the anti-CC, having the ability to rush in and use that decimation to finish off those kills, and also pave that early way objectives for your team, such as the Turtles, the Lords, and also being able to possibly contest buffs. And so we are going to see that slotted into the hands of some to prove, or some to love, and then we're also going to see him pick up that retribution as well.
Definitely, but Leomord's still on the board, and honestly, if I'm the side of Elite 10, I like this trade that you get. We have seen Yukihara kind of pick up that Leomord quite a bit in the jungle and find good success with it. I would expect them to go ahead and lock that in for the response pick in their jungle. I do think, truly do believe that Leomord currently has the strongest, if not the one of the strongest level 4 spikes in the game. Once the Stampede is unlocked, really hard to deal with, but they're really actually going to opt in for the Akai and going to leave Leomord on the board right now.
Ooh, wait a minute. Now, Lapu Lapu, we've kind of seen this picked up more than not, and kind of starting to shine in the XP lane, but picking up that Akai, now that's a little bit interesting. It's got me kind of scratching my head. Is this a possible plan to kind of counteract that Martis inside of the jungle? And also, Akai's that flex pick, right? We don't know if he's going to be jungle yet. He can still be roam. So not really the worst option, but like we said, when you pick that up, you are allowing other meta picks possibly into the hands of Nefarious. If they wanted to, they could pick up that Leomord. You can flex Leomord into the jungle. You can also flex Leomord into the XP lane. But the question is that something that Nefarious wants to pick up? And wait. They are going to lock in that Diggy, and we know how well Diggy can do with those that time journey up against an Akai, kind of counteracting that heavy spin. So now, a direct counter over there to Soma on Elite 10.
Absolutely, and I feel like this, that's where the misplay is, right? I don't think the Akai was bad. You could see, the matchup up against Martis, or potentially, baiting out that Leomord and having Martis move to XP, and then you get that heavy spin to kind of displace Leomord off that ult path. But they took it in too early, right? They're on red side. They easily could have just taken up maybe like a mage, something nice and early that's not very easy to contest. I mean, Lily is on the board. Eve was also an option. I feel like you lock in that Lapu Lapu, maybe take one of those mages, and you save the Akai for this final pick that they're about to walk in, and you're able to ban out that Diggy as you head over to the second phase of the draft. So they allowed the counterplay to be an option from blue side to be able to go ahead and deal with the Akai. And I mean, that also just enables this 1-1, right? The CC, even from the heavy spin, while it is good on the wand now with the Diggy, that time journey, and have a hard time now being able to not only just play Akai in general in this match, but even against the 1-1 for the counterplay.
Yeah, Yeah, you know, I'm wondering what the game plan is, especially when you lock that in for your first pick, when you have second phase in the draft. Usually you kind of see teams picking up whatever meta was left on the table. But speaking of meta, looks like Mlsa was going secured over there by Samurai on Elite 10 as well. We haven't really seen Mlsa too often, but that doesn't mean that Mlsa can't get the job done. One of those heroes that can kind of rush in and take those good fights. There's something going around now where Mlsa's building like two Blade of Despairs or something like that and getting the job done. So maybe we're going to see that today. But with this draft so far for the side of Elite 10, they have 2 fighters, and they also have a tank that is flexed into the jungle, which is a lot of frontline presence. They already got the CC provided by Soma, but they are going to go up against that Diggy, so maybe having to slot something else to kind of pressure out that time journey, maybe bait it out and use another hero with CC to kind of counteract it could be a good plan. But when you lock in the Mlsa, right, that you're going to probably be focusing on roaming around and trying to harass the back lines, as that's really where Mlsa kind of shines, and if not that, at least harassing inside of the buffs or the neutral objectives that the enemy jungler is going to go for. So going forward with this, we need to see what is their late game plan. They have a lot of early game potential, they have a lot of front line, but I'm not seeing anything to kind of secure that win in the late game.
And speaking of those late games, right, and those other picks you're talking about to force that time journey, I think maybe instead of going for the CC, right, because CC isn't really going to be such a strong option. They have the Martis and Diggy, right, Mortal Coils, time journey. You're not going to find much in the way of CC, even with the Purifier that Wanwan has innately in her own kit. I feel like from E10, if I'm looking, right, you have a mage that you still need to pick up. I'm looking to potentially lock in something like Farsa. Right, you get that high ground capability, you get the range, and if you can stack those feather airstrikes with Samurai on this Mlsa with that thunderclap, I mean, you give a very hard time for disappointing red tree on this Wanwan without having any CC, right? Just the damage itself, and not only that, the time journey can even be popped if you're bursting down that Diggy with those feather airstrikes. You know, make them use that utility to go ahead and start swinging some of those exchanges, because really the time journey is going to be the saving grace for the side of Nefarious so far. I mean, if you can pop out that major keystone in their composition, you have a good time. You enable Yukihara, right, on that Akai. You enable even Blade to be able to get in and do that damage, maybe land a stun or two in that Brave Fighter stance. And they do go ahead and lock in that Farsa. So, I mean, a great read, right, a great pick. And I was just harping on this about locking in that Farsa. I think that's a great option coming out from the side of E10.
Now, I'm a fan of Farsa, right? Able to have that mobility with the wings by wings, also the AoE damage with the feather airstrike, and also the mobility, like we said, just comes in handy in getting out those tricky situations. But we are seeing Milo kind of hover over that flame shot, and the question is Mito going to take that or not? But speaking of pickups, Azumi wasting no time. It's going to go ahead and secure their jungler for the side of Nefarious, and they're going to lock in that Karina. And with this, that means this is going to be a Martis in the XP lane, not in the jungle. And now I'm wondering if this will work out. As we know, Karina's weakness is CC. Not too much CC in the hands of Elite 10 though, which may possibly work in their favor. Karina, one of those assassins that can rush in with the Shadow Assault and kind of go in for those kills. So definitely maybe a possible game plan. Yeah, they got the damage. Disappointed Retri over there has the Inspire on the Wanwan, so we are assuming him to be a little bit more aggressive, especially up against Hayama right now. If he does lock in that carry, Carry is that late game marksman. Yeah, Carry might run with that sprint. Sometimes some carries run with the Inspire, but Wanwan definitely more of a force from that early to mid game. So we are going to expect Hayama possibly to play a little bit safer if he locks in the carry, but wait a minute. Gonna go ahead and lock in that Kimmy. Not just any Kimmy, the Star Wars skin Kimmy. And now I'm wondering how this will play out. Is this gonna be the first time in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy we are seeing a Kimmy in the gold lane?
Definitely not something we typically see, but I can see a little bit of the merit, right? You're able to have some of that bit of that range, even some poke there in that lane against some of the love on the Wanwan. But also, if you look at the composition from Nefarious, they don't have any very strong backline dive. Everything's kind of gonna be coming from the front. Very linear, and with that Kimmy, especially after the Ice Queen wand gets picked up, he has a good opportunity, right, to keep everything right where he wants it in terms of kiting and able to dish out that damage. And obviously with the range they currently have up against Nefarious, who doesn't have much range, right, they could definitely poke out and start those fights out in like an HP advantage before they go ahead and decide for the full commit.
Speaking of full commits, both teams locked in and ready inside of the Land of the Dawn as we are stepping into the match. This is King of the Hill. That means this is only a best of one, meaning winning team stays and the losing team walks. Definitely place your votes as the polls are up, not only on YouTube, but across all social media platforms and also on Discord. Definitely let us know who you think will take this game. Nefarious, the previous title holders for King of the Hill, winning 4 in a row, breaking that record, only taken down by Ackerman. Or are you going to be seeing the other side, the Elite 10, kind of start the day and claim that crown? Like we said, a couple of conditions on the board that have to be met, right? You are looking at Kimmy versus a Wanwan. Now, Wanwan, if she can close the distance, will be able to get that crossbow tang off. Has the Inspire, may have an easier time. Kimmy can kind of keep her at bay, though, as she is going to rush in with those basic attacks and use that energy to kind of keep that Wanwan from closing that distance. But for their teams, we are going to have to expect a little bit of a rotation onto the gold lane to help either one of them be that early game damage dealer that they need and possibly take that lane. Looking at the jungles, we are seeing a Karina, an assassin who is great at rushing in and securing those kills, especially when heroes are low HP. But speaking about low HP,
we are seeing some action here on this bot side. Akumi getting dropped a little low on that far, so gonna have to wisely go ahead and back off. And I mean, just like you pointed out, right, the rotations from these teams in the gold lane right now, we can see both teams prioritizing their gold laners. I do have to say, though, for the side of Nefarious, I kind of like it, right? They have the Diggy, who's been very strong in this gold lane assistance, that babysitting in the gold lane to be able to win out those trades. And as far as pokes, we can see right now some of the love applying that pressure to Hayama, who is dropping low, but there is a Panda. He did reveal his position out of that bush, though, so the surprise no longer there. But yeah, ahead of this turtle, both teams definitely trying to make their presence felt in that gold lane.
Yeah, I felt like we were waiting for that heavy spin to kind of proc right there. Soma almost pulled it off. A little bit of a revealing in that bush kind of costed him. But speaking of costly, while he was down there, that allowed Karina to steal that turtle.
Did still the turtle, and now we're seeing the Shadow Assault coming out from Karina, but the heavy spin is going to catch the carry. Time Grade, though, going to go ahead and negate that Heavenly Blade coming in from the backside with Lapu. Going to find a kill, the first blood on Karina with that Brave Spider stance with the Raging Slashes. Azumi trying to go for the retreat here. Masha in heaven on him, though. Masha's going to pick up that kill, but Diggy going to trade it right back out with the bombs in that river bush. 2-for-1 trade in the side of Elite 10, though. But wait, maybe another trade in the gold lane. Kimmy and Juan going at it now. Diggy looking to pressure Hayama on this. Kimmy could get taken out by the bombs. An auto attack from Diggy, not going to find it, though, nor the name. Dark 4 does find Mito Akumi on this Farsa, evening up the kills there. Nefarious taking a little bit of a lead.
Wow, what a lead. What a turnaround. It was 2-0 right there, right? But now 2-2 in terms of kills. But Turtle did go into the hands of Nefarious as Akai was a little bit out of place for that neutral objective, but she was trying to go for that gold lane gank that we kind of talked about earlier. And now, looking at the gold, they have a 1,000 gold difference in to the side of Nefarious. What does that allow? If we do a little bit of an item check so far, right? We are seeing that Elegant Gem kind of picked up nice and early over there by Ignore This Name, which is kind of going to keep him in that game with that mana and also a little bit of HP pool as well. Definitely gonna help for that mage. But the question is the marksmans, right? You have to see these marksmans get online, and it looks like that is where everybody's focus is. You are seeing a lot of members kind of rotate down. 4 members on the side of Elite 10, realizing we need to find a way to take some of the love down. We gotta stop this gold lane pressure. But speaking of pressure,
Speaking of pressure in this river, a little bit of a temperature check in between both teams, a potential clash we could have saw from both members, but they do go ahead and disengage, keeping their eyes on the prize, right? Turtle up in 7, gold lane focus. We do see Samurai starting to rotate over here. Sun Proof doing a good job with those bombs, though, to provide that vision for Sun to Love on this 1-1 and offering in that poke ahead of this Turtle. They do currently have a little bit of an HP lead. We do see Yuhara a little low. Masha, though, going in for the engage. Thunderclap already a little premature. Feather Airstrike coming in. Heavy spin from Yuki. Heart, a lot of utility wasted. Time Journey has also been used. The members on the Fairies very low as Blade has made the rotation. The Flicker stun on the Brave Fighter stance. Gonna find something to love there as Akai does pick up that Turtle. Now the re-engage from Azumi on top, but is gonna have to burn out that Flicker as he was left in between 4 members of E10 who had won that trade 1-0 along with the Turtle.
What a play, but we got to give it over there to that Farza that we talked about earlier in the draft. Able to use that Feathered Airstrike at the right time, realizing that Nefarious was grouped up, got them all down to half HP, and then what better way for Heaven's Blade to kind of enter that fight with the Brave Fighter stance to kind of pick some off. And now, not only did they get a kill in that trade, but they also took a turtle to even up this gold. So they are not down. As a matter of fact, they are up by a few hundred gold right now. And it looks like they are going to go in for a clash onto Karina. And it looks like right now, Elite 10 maintaining that pressure, even though they had a little bit of a deficit, able to come back. But speaking about comebacks,
we are seeing Blade getting pressure here by Ozumi, almost in range for that decimation to secure the kill with 3 members, though, looking like he's gonna go down. But no, the heavy spin from Yukihara on the Akai, followed up by that feather airstrike, gonna provide the escape route for this Lapu Lapu. A good save and disengage from the members of Elite 10.
Man, what a clash. Both of these teams playing very safe. But speaking of plays, oh my goodness.
We are seeing Akumi. Yeah, he does get taken out, right? But he does force the time journey, though. From that diggy there. Ooh, speaking of force, though, the crossbow attack getting procced in the bot lane as Juan does secure a kill on Akira on this Kimmy. Now that pressure in the lane gonna go ahead and swing to the side, and Nefarious might even lose a tower off of this.
And this is what we were kind of wondering, how would the story unfold in the gold lane? And now something to prove, not picking up only 1 kill. He's gonna go ahead and pick up picking up 2 kills over there on that 1-1. Actually not, 1 kill and 1 assist, but still, that's going to increase that gold lead and also take a tower in her favor, which is going to give Wanwan an easier time to rotate around the map. Not only an easier time, but looking at items, already having that Corrosion Scythe and the Demon Hunter Sword to work at her disposal to take out those beefier heroes such as that Akai, such as that Lapu Lapu, and even that Masha. So definitely having to watch out for Something to Love now, as he does have that advantage for the backline. But speaking of plays, Turtle is in effect, and looks like both teams are going to go ahead and try and contest it.
Absolutely, they are trying to contest at the side of Elite 10 right now, currently in control of this turtle pit, but Nefarious looking to make a play. Brave Fighter stance though, Zumi's going to get caught in the stun, going to have to flicker out, but Karina is going to find the turtle still. Now the members of Elite 10 looking to maybe follow up for an engage, does get the pin on Karina after time journey has been forced out, but a pull back from Diggy might prove the escape for the Karina, as she is able to go ahead and disengage from that fight. They win that turtle without losing any members, but now Something to Love looking for those marks for that crossbow attack, as the members of E10 are looking to retreat, but gonna get pulled back by Diggy, killing spree on the Lunix, finding a tie there. Mito Kumi also gonna fall to this Lunix, a double kill in the hands of Nor. This name now Hayama Akira looking to find something, but speaking of finding things, crossbow tank has been procced for the Wan as the members in the Fairs are gonna go ahead and take down Heaven Blade onto this Lapu Lapu.
What a play, not only taking the kills, but also going to take another tower. We were just speaking about Something to Love on this Wanwan. Once you allowed Wanwan to get online, you open the door for these possibilities to happen. And it looks like Something to Love wasting no time is going to make the most out of these situations. And now, 7-3, we are seeing a huge lead and a huge pressure on the map in the hands of Nefarious going forward. If you are the side of Elite 10, you need to find a way to slow down their tempo. If you look at their damage dealers right now, Wanwan and Lunox just kind of leading the way. Lunox 4-0-1 right now. Just kind of that burst mage that can take out even the beefiest heroes, and that works really well against a composition like Elite 10 with that double fighter and also that tank jungle. But speaking of objectives, looks like a little bit of clash maybe on the way for the mid lane, as they are trying to push it in, but you do have the full team of Elite 10 kind of protecting it. But a lot of real estate into the hands of Nefarious in this match, as we are only at the 8-minute mark, and they have taken 2 towers already.
They definitely have picked up 2 towers, as we do see that one talker as well getting picked up, but now Azumi getting forced to retreat here from the members of Elite 10. Kimmy gonna find that kill, time journey being popped, and that was that feather airstrike and that Kimmy combo, right? All that poke, but now the return as Lunux looking to pick up that 5th kill, unstoppable, as he does find the Masha, but Heavenly Blade in the background looking to find this Diggy, but Hayama gonna connect with that charge on Kimmy to go ahead and pick up a kill, his 2nd kill of the game here, looking to capitalize. Something to Love though in this river bush, potentially looking for a fight. The members of Elite 10 gonna have to respect his aggro, right? He has a lot of core items, 3 core items, if you want to go ahead and count it up there. But now Elite 10 potentially looking to start this lore. No, just gonna go ahead and leave that now.
Oh my goodness, Wanwan wasted no time though.
Absolutely more engaged there, but not going to go much further than that 1 kill on Akumi. Now he has been taking down a mage for a marksman, and the state that the Nefarious marksman in might have been a very critical loss there. I don't know if I would have traded that out for Akumi, but now this Lunux finding a kill on Akira in the mid lane, both marksmen's down. He's 6-0 right now. I mean, there's got to be an answer. Someone's got to get rid of this Lunux. He is tearing apart the members of Elite 10.
Yeah, and I was kind of looking at both of these mages today. We looked at the Farza having really good placement for those feather airstrikes, but now having a harder time as we creep into the 10-minute mark. But Lunox, like you said, no answers on the board right now for Ignore This Name, and he is 6-0-1. Looking at his items, this has opened up the way for a lot of core items. He has the Enchanted or not Enchanted Talisman. He has a Clock of Destiny. He has the Lightning Truncheon, and also the Glowing Wand to kind of work in his favor, and they synergize very well. Also, those Mana Boots to remain in these fights. So definitely having to be a little bit more careful, as he is definitely online and is not afraid of quickly getting that burst potential to take any member down from the side of Elite 10. They need to find a way to get to the back line. We're not really seeing the easiest time over there by Soma on this Akai. 0-1-4. We're looking at this Mlsa, and we kind of expected, you know, when you pick the Mlsa, you're meant to rush into the back line. But speaking of back line,
we do see Lux going in for that Dark Form, but going to be vulnerable to the CC of Akai's. The Feather Airstrike's going to connect. The Time Journey has been popped from the side of Nefarious. Now we see the Heavy Spin connecting the 1-1 here. Masha going to hit secure that kill. Hayama going to find a kill on the Diggy. Elite 10s finally finding a little bit of a trade in their favor, 3-0, as they're going to go ahead and clear out this Lord. A good defense and a good setup for a fight in that top side jungle clash.
Man, oh man, but looking at real estate right now, Nefarious having all their towers still intact, and they are dropping left and right for the side of Elite 10 as they are down to their inhibitor on the bottom lane. The inner turret on the top side barely hanging on by a thread, and definitely need to be a little bit more careful in terms of placement, as you do not want these towers to fall into the hands of Nefarious and open up that map even more for a potential early finish. Looking at the gold right now, currently up 4,000 in the hands of Nefarious as well. Looking at the items, if we even compare the marksmen, we have 3 core items on that Wan. You're looking at this Kimmy only having actually picking up 3 as well, kind of keeping up with the gold even with this deficit. Nonetheless, very impressive. But looking at the Kimmy, right, she has an Ice Queen wand. She is going to go for a little bit more slow when those bullets do hit. Has the you know, the Holy Crystal as well for that magic power to kind of combo with that for some damage. But like we said, the side of Nefarious, right, they have a lot of burst potential with this Lunox. Speaking of burst potential, a pick off over there on Hayama.
Absolutely, but now it looks like the Akai going to go ahead and complete that. Heavy's going to go ahead and trade out Marksman for the jungler here. Not a trade that you kind of want, but it is what you do able to take up there. You are able to even it up 1-1 here, but now some to love. Looking a little aggressive. They are going to take out that tower. Mortal Coils from this Martyrs looking to keep the Akai locked down as the members will burst him down. Decimation going to find that kill for their airstrike, though, down from the side of Nito on this far. So Samurai, though, in the background, could go for the Thunderclap on this one, potentially forces out the Brilliance. Does get pulled back by Diggy, though. Gonna have to go ahead and disengage Blade. Samurai Mito left in the mid lane to defend, but Nefarious wisely gonna go ahead and back off here. They did pick up a tower and a kill there, so definitely a nice trade for them.
And this is going to allow them even more pressure on the map, especially as Lord is going to spawn in. Not just any Lord, but Luminous Lord. We are seeing that Glowing Wand picked up by Kimmy in the process, but like we were talking about, this Masha, right? Needing to have a little bit more presence in terms of getting to that back lane, shutting down, you know, get to the back line, shutting down this Wan, possibly shutting down this Lunox, but having a very hard time. Is they're kind of those heroes that have an easier time bursting down the Masha. And this is definitely an interesting comp indeed. Both teams kind of trying to maintain some pressure on the map, realizing they need to go for this Lord that has spawned in. And right now, if you are looking at Martis, he is continuing that farm. They do have pressure in terms of the lane, and right now, Elite 10 kind of grouping up for this Lord. Not really sure this is the right choice to do. So even if you sit here, right, you're going to allow minions to slowly work their way up the map to take some additional towers. Akai, Soma over there pulling some of the aggro, though. Elite 10 deciding to go for this neutral objective, but it is reset over there by Akai. Probably a little bit of bait, trying to understand where they are on the map. But when you allow these minions to push up on your side and you don't contest them, it creates the pressure of them taking these towers, which creates a split comp for these neutral objective fights. And now this is going to allow Nefarious to kind of aggro in this Lord. But the question is who gets it. You see both teams circling around it, kind of doing a little bit of custody battle over it. But the question is who will prevail, a battle of frontline or a battle of burst?
Absolutely, and we are seeing Samurai here on this Masha trying to hold that front ground in that river as the Lord will get pulled. We saw the maximum charge get wasted by Akira on the Kimmy, but he did pick up a tower there, offering some pressure in that top side as the jungle to the side of Elite 10 is going ahead and start up the aggro again for this Lord. Another reset. Both teams kind of dancing. Conceal going out from the side of Nefarious. Azumi rushing around with that Martish right now. We do see Kimmy is one over for the blue buff. So definitely understanding there is a little bit of lull in the action here. Both teams not just going to commit quite yet. Doing a good job, right? No one getting too eager. No one pulling the trigger just yet. Not too early. Something to prove, providing a little bit of poke with those bombs. But the side of Elite 10 now has the durability to kind of deal with that. But we do see Azumi rotating off to the bot lane. I'm not sure if Elite 10 has made this recognition yet, but if they can realize this quickly, once Martis pops up on this map, they might go ahead and commit for this fight. They do have 5 members still hovering around that mid-top side. We do see E10 now starting it up. I do think they realize the numbers. Martis slowly trying to make his way, but it might be too late. We do see Samurai clashing around in the background. Members of Elite 10 are now forcing this objective. The heavy spin coming out from Brave Fighter stance, but Karina still gonna find this Lord. Elite 10 has missed the retro. They missed the opportunity for the enhanced Lord, and now Nefarious looking to pick up the pace here. They do see Heaven Blade Mawapu is dangerously low. Diggy finally gonna find his way there. Gonna hit him with a pull back now. All members on top of Wapu. He is down 5v4 advantage, but Azumi might get taken out as well. A little bit too much aggression in that bot side. Does get traded out. A 4v4 currently on the map. Oh, no. A 4v3 here. 3 runners from the side of Elite 10. Wan pushing up on that top inhibitor is going to be able to take that out. Yukihara has been forced back by the Diggy. Doesn't have heavy spin, but crossbow tank from Wan going to find 2 members down there, make that 3 members. A double kill from the side of Summer Web on this Wan side of Nefarious, knowing they have this in the bags. The recall spam is coming. The victory is on its way. It's just a matter of time here. Only Samurai left alone to defend this. A lone man on a mission. Can't get it done though, but now Heavenly Blade stepping in. They're going to have a lot to handle. Time Journey though popped out. Brave Fighter stance entered in, but Summer Web on the Wan's just going to focus on this tower with Thunderclap coming from Masha. Going to force him back here. Might have opened up a little window, but no. Going to get taken out. Unstoppable for Wan. Unstoppable before, so Nefarious is indeed as they're looking to close out this game. 3 members low, but now Lord has entered into the chat. So on the well though on the Nexus, looking to end this and head to the next match.
Victory!
Woo! What a game! What a game! What a game! But nonetheless impressive for the side of Nefarious. The power of Wan, the power of Lunox, super hard to deal with. Even that Karina able to wrap around and still that Lord, you know, you ran straight into Akai with the heavy spin, but Akai having a hard time keeping her at bay, was able to sneak in at the last minute. Actually, no, matter of fact, the last second with the retribution and out-retried the Akai over there on Soma. Definitely a good game indeed, but this victory does go in to the hands of Nefarious. Speaking of the hands, guys, appreciate y'all sneaking up on us. This is King of the Hill, and the rules are simple. This is a best of 1, first come, first serve. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday from 8 p.m. Eastern time. Like we said, an impressive game nonetheless from the side of Nefarious to close that out. But speaking of closeout, let's go ahead and take a look at their data.
And looking at the data here, right, we've already seen the stats, but the story to tell here. Some to love on that Wan, getting it done 32% damage, sharing that a little evenly with Lennox, with that 28% damage coming in from their mid laner, but 88% turret damage from Some to Love. An intense focus on those towers. We've seen it taking the bot lane, taking the top side, pushing all the rest of the towers, and focusing in on the end there for that Nexus to be able to secure this game for the side of Nefarious up against Elite 10.
What a game, what a game. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not all, as we do have multiple teams that are going to try and steal that crown. Nefarious kind of paving the way. Nefarious, a team known to be the Kings of the Hill. They broke a record 4 in a row, and then that was taken by Ackerman and win 7 in a row. So Nefarious kind of back online, trying to reclaim that title. But like we said, will they remain the Kings, or will we see some of these teams today step up and snatch it off of their heads? Don't go nowhere, as the next team will be coming up momentarily.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Woo! Feel it when you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa?
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the land of the Dawn, and we are not finished. We've seen Nefarious take out the Elite 10 to claim the crown for match 1. Today is week 4, day 1 for the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and we are hosting King of the Hill. And what is that exactly? Well, the rules are simple. It is first come, first serve, best of 1. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday from 8 p.m. Eastern time until the last team stands. And now, speaking of teams, we have 2 amazing competitors. Not only do we have the current Kings, Nefarious, but they are going up against the challengers, the team from the Wild Wild West, the Demigods.
Absolutely, from the Wild West Demigods, one of those new teams, right, that came in and put on a strong performance in their outings. They will be up against Nefarious, though, a very strong contender in the MLSA. They did secure their first win of the night on Elite 10 in their previous match here, looking to continue and maybe make that 2 wins. Demigods obviously looking to step in here and create and keep making their name rise in the ranks of MLSA, as they are coming off a strong showing, like I said previously in last week's events. It's going to be a very intense match, very fun match to watch. But speaking of matches, we are heading into the draft. And a lot of bans, all the bans for the first phase have already been completed from both sides, wasting no time heading over to the picks.
And we do see Demigods picking up that Carmilla. Now, we all know Carmilla has been one of those heroes that she's a flex pick. So picking her first, we don't know if she's going to be EXP. We don't know if she's going to be roam. We don't know if she's going to be jungle. And that's like one of the top things when you think about teams like Demigods. They know how to draft. They ban the Diggy. They know they're gonna, be a heavy CC comp, and picking that Diggy would purify. And in response, the side of Nefarious, we do see them locking in that Akai as well as the Martis. 2 very strong picks in the meta, and we've seen the side of Nefarious really pop off on this in the XP lane as well as in the jungle, and we do know that Disappointing Retreat has made his mark on this Akai pick, so I'm really looking forward to see how they're going to execute it during this match, especially against a team like Demigod.
Definitely, and with a team like Demigods, right, one of those newer teams, we don't even know or what to expect along with that flex pick Carmilla, but they could go ahead and round out within their drafts. They're currently hovering over that Karina and the Vexana right now. If this Vexana gets locked, it'll be the first Vexana of the MLSA, but no, they're going to swap that up for that crossboard tank, something true and reliable to the meta. Juan Karina being confirmed for those first 3 picks on the side of Demigods.
Now, you know me, as a mage main, I have a lot of faith in these off-meta picks, so I would have personally loved to see that Vexana slide through. So I'm hoping that maybe Demigods takes this win so we can see Vexana next game, so the people can see her potential, because that ultimate is a strong one. But speaking of strong ultimates, though, as we mentioned, that 1-1 in her crossbow tank going up against this Claude. Now, we do know that 1-1 would have an earlier time in that early game, because she's able to poke and, dance around this Claude earlier on. However, though, if we take into consideration the ultimate of Claude, right, paired with the Martis over there, we do have someone that's capable of shredding the backline as well as doing AoE damage, so it's not single target and one at a time. It's not like pick-off dependent. However, when you pair it up with the Martis, he's able to burst down and, secure those kills from the remaining people from that blazing duet. So I really like the first phase of Nefarious's draft right now. I'm leaning in favor of their overall draft composition so far.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more, right? That blazing duet enabling that Martis to go ahead and land those decimation ults in rapid succession after the burst from Azumi. Or, well, not Azumi, but a marksman from the side. Something to love there on that gold lane. But speaking of lanes, Lapu Lapu being banned out, we already figured that Martis would be going over to the XP. Akai's being locked in, and we know Nefarious likes to use that utility in the jungle, so no bringer there on where that's going. They did face up against the Lapu Lapu. It gave them a little bit of trouble, and since they already have the XP locked in and the XP is still needed from the side of DG, a wise ban from the side of Nefarious to go ahead and take that out, as Lapu Lapu has been rising in the XP. But speaking of another XP pick, though, they do ban out the Dyrok as well from the side of Demigods. Not gonna let Nefarious potentially pick that up, but like we said, the Martis already kind of a lock going into the XP, so a bit of a misread potentially from DG, maybe a wasted ban coming out from the side of DG. Not really sure what they're looking at from the side of Nefarious, so that might open up some opportunities for Nefarious as this draft goes along.
Absolutely. And speaking of opportunities, though, I still think there's the opportunity on the side of Nefarious for them to flex. They can also be spontaneous if they're feeling with it. You know, their name is Nefarious. They're criminals. So they could try to deceive us right now in this draft phase. Like, I think what could happen as well, that Akai and Martis could be swapped. The Akai could either be roam or they could be spontaneous, like I said earlier, and send that in the XP lane and then pick something else up along the line. So I do think that's a consideration as well. We do see the side of Demigods picking off this Lilia, which I think is great. When you have this frontline presence and this heavy early game going into a lot of melee range heroes like the Karina, the Carmilla, it's a very annoying mage to go against because she can, dish out so much damage. She has the utility and she can just constantly poke you, harass you. And when she's, done, making fun of you, she can pop that black shoes and be like, haha, okay, I'm done. You thought? No, I'm actually back with 5 stacks again. And, do the same thing over and over again. So it was a very good last on the side of Demigods.
Absolutely. And speaking of good ideas there, that Dairoth being banned out from the side of DG opened up the door for this Esmeralda to fall into the hands of Bombshell in this XP and provides a nice and usually safe laning phase for Bombshell with the Esmeralda. But speaking of things that are safe, the Sicilian, right? That late game Insurity paired up with that Claude. You already have some early potential with that Martis, and we're seeing a support being hovered by the side of Nefarious supports, typically being very good for that early phase. But that's Sicilian, right? I gotta talk about it. Last week, we seen Nefarious, I think they put out Sicilian about 3 times in that 4-game win streak that they set up for King of the Hill. So something they're definitely comfy with using, something that's been proven and reliable for them to get those wins, as they did go ahead and lock in that Raphaelia to complete their draft. Both compositions have been finished. So with that being said, Rim, what do you think about these comps? If you had to give it to one side before the game starts, who do you think could take the win just off the draft alone?
We're going solely off the draft. I'm definitely going to have to give it to the side of Nefarious. They have the Claude, they have the Sicilian, and both of those picks can just enable Azumi to just come in and finish up those, kills and those team fights. So I'm definitely thinking as long as they play this game slow, they know they have the late game composition, as long as they can, reach that point in this match, I definitely think that Nefarious has a great chance in this match against the comp that Demigods picked up.
I kind of agree with you there. I do like Nefarious. We do know these games between these high-level teams often cross over to that late game, and with Claude and Sicilian in your backline, definitely going to secure some early advantage. But with that being said, going to have to withstand the forces of Demigod nice and early. They have the Karina. You know that they're going to look to snowball with those Shadow Assault attacks, being able to secure some kills nice and early. But speaking of securing kills, Norbert on this Kagura, right? A mage killer in her own right. Kagura able to secure kills on some of those backline mages, some of those immobile picks. The condition there in that mid lane is Norbert's going to have to find a way to take off, ignore this name off the map early. A couple kills to kind of set him behind as far as getting those stacks, as far as getting those items in the hands of Nefarious. Going to have to try to secure some of those pickoffs there and maybe negate that flow that Nefarious is going to be looking for to translate into the late game.
Absolutely. And when you think of a mage like Kagura, right, it's going to make ganks really easy, because if the side of Demigods tries to ambush a tower, she can dive in with the umbrella, get the stun, and escape while the other teams, try to mitigate the incoming tower damage. And speaking of damage, we do see some damage going on to Esmeralda in this bot lane, but they're going to be a little more disciplined and go back to farming, getting ready to be pepped up for this turtle. Speaking of prepping up, we do see a little, poke, a certain dominance on the side of Demigods in the mid lane there.
Absolutely. Getting that Raphaelia low there, taking some HP away from that support, away from that utility. But obviously, a healer able to pick up some of the HP has returned back to half strength there, as the members are currently grouping up to contest this turtle. DG pulling that turtle deep along that wall, looking for a strong aggro. Going to make it hard for the members of Nefarious to contest. But with the Sakai able to clear out the room, going out for the heavy spin here, but hasn't negated the Carmilla, but is still going to be able to pick up that Turtle now has this Karina locked down in the backline by himself. But speaking of backlines, Azumi on top here, not going to be able to find that kill with two members low. Kagura going to go ahead and take him out. Azumi being done as a 1-for-1 trade so far. Potentially looking for a second though. Rafael with the aggressive flicker and Holy Baptism able to find the kill but get traded out by Bombshell and this Esmeralda immediately. A 2-for-2 trade, but Turtle falling into the hands of Nefarious.
See, and it goes back to what I said about discipline. You got the turtle, you secured the objective, you got one kill in your favor as well. Be disciplined, go back to your jungle. Speaking of being disciplined, let's see what items are being picked up. We do see Kagura and Cecilion with the elegant gem. Now, as a mage main, that's a really, important item in the early game. You can be aggressive and it even enhances the mage's outplay potential because you could get them low and that clutch level up comes in and they can regen the HP back. We do see Rafaela building some physical defense so she can sustain some of the poke damage coming in while she's trying to get vision to the team. Core items, 1-1, already securing her first item. So the side of demigods are really playing this game in their favor right now. I love how they're executing this draft, their rotations, and the heroes. Speaking of execution,
we're seeing Karina enter in with that Shadow Assault, but gonna go ahead and give that kill over to Wan. A wise decision. Like you said, already picking up one core item and now getting a kill, gonna easily start going into that second item with that additional gold. And the side of Nefarious here, gonna have to find a way to get some of the love involved. Closing in on that DHS we saw, but he's just a little behind there. Clock getting picked up by Cecilion here, going to offer into some of that late game scaling. But speaking of scaling, Karina going a little aggressive on Cecilion in this jungle, going to force out the ultimate of Cecilion in there. The blazing duet coming in from the top side from Claude to go ahead and clear out that lane. Both teams here trying to exert some pressure from both sides. We were seeing the cut up in the gold lane from the side of Demigods, and Nefarious though going to take note of that and start up this turtle. They do have the number advantage right now. Nefarious starting to rotate in, but haven't had a good check on the push. The falling star coming out from Bombshell. Karina looking to do some damage here, but heavy spin coming out from Akai, going to do a good job of zoning, going to pick up that turtle, and Retribution lands. But now the blood curse is dropping. The links are in play. They do find a kill on Karina though. 1-for-0 trade so far, but Azumi going in for the aggressive flicker. Crossbow hanging popped in from Wan. Going to find a kill on disappointing Retri. Looking for more here. They do pick up a second kill. Double kill in the hands of Wan, dancing around, trying to avoid death from Cecilion. Is able to avoid, but speaking of things not being able to be avoided, Azumi still going for the kill. A little bit of execute. Life in the balance for Norbert and the Martis. They both choose to disengage, but Esmeralda not looking to let this escape. No prisoner of wars. DG on the chase here. He is trying to find Azumi running valiantly, but Esmeralda might catch up to him. Mortal close again to take some of that damage. Now backup members from the side of Nefarious, something to prove, helping out on that disengage there. But that trade overall going to the side of Demigods there. Now in the top side though, we are seeing a stun from Warrior on this Carmilla, doing a little bit of pressure on Son of Love here, getting a little low. He has to be careful here as we do see Karina transferring up to the side of the map. Does smell blood in the water. Now they're catching Son approved on the Raphaelia. Holy Baptism coming out for the stun. Now the heavy spin, but too late for the crossbow tank. Mega kill going to the hands of Wan. They're blazing duet though, coming in doing a lot of AoE damage. Picking up damage, still picking up a kill there. Shut down. Karina finding the trade though back on Cecilion, dangerously low, but gonna be able to escape with that conceal coming in clutch from Warrior on this Carmilla.
Man, the hero mechanics, I love to see it. Kagura using the ulti to just, give them a little flower, raise their allergies. We know it's the winter time, but she says, no, I'm bringing back spring. Get away from us, No runaway criminals on the side of Demigods right now. And I do love the momentum and the responses that both these teams has. They're not really fully engaging. They're testing the waters, they're using their heroes to their limits. And speaking of testing the waters here,
Azumi getting cut out with those mortal coils, using it to clear the waves as Karina is going to go ahead and pick up that kill with the Shadow Assault. Azumi overstaying his welcome in that bot lane as now Turtle is spawning in, but in the top side we do see Wan Warrior pressuring. The Bloodlings goes down, not going to connect though. Now blazing duet coming out from Son of Love to go ahead and clear out that wave. Warrior caught him between a rock and a hard place. Turret damage coming in, damage for Son of Love, but is going to be able to disengage with that low HP. But speaking of low HP, down here on the Turtle, disappointing Retri again, securing that with that heavy great spin on the side of Nefarious, but now looking for the engage as Demigods has overstayed their welcome, finding a kill on Norbert on the Kagger. Shadow Assault though from Human Birdie on the Karina, finds a kill on Cecilia on a killing spree, but now looking to get chased down from the members of Nefarious. They're looking for the kill shut down, falling into the hands, a double kill into the hands of Disappointing Retri. Mortal Coils coming through from Azumi on top with this Martis, and they do take down the mid lane. Overall, that trade obviously going to the favor of Nefarious.
See, and that's the thing here. We know when you get these objectives, they know their strengths, and they were a little more disciplined than before. Speaking, though, we do see 1-1 getting, this kill as soon as I was talking about discipline. But speaking of discipline, let's check these items. We do see Esme picking up that Enchanted Talisman as well as the Dominance Ice to pair up against this Martis as well, picking up the Dominance Ice. So very even in terms of item countering and itemization there. 1-1, picking up 3 of her core items: the Windtalker, the Corrosion Psych, and the Demon Hunter Sword. Speaking of, Claude as well, being able to pick up his first 2 items, which we know would enable his damage of those Blazing Duets. All he has to go ahead and do is pick up his 1 more item, and he's gonna start a hurt. He's gonna start to shred. Speaking of shredding, Cecilion, picking up the Lightning Truncheon as well as the Clock of Destiny. We already know his first skill and his passive scales off of that mana. So going into this mid-game, we're going to see a lot of damage coming out on the side of Nefarious. And I'm not really seeing any defensive items on the side of Demigods to kind of, mitigate the damage that's going to be coming out. So hopefully, as we go on, set up for this first Lord, maybe we'll see some more defense items coming in so they can help, sustain during these fights here.
Definitely going to need the sustain. It is a pretty high kill game so far, 11 to 8, 9 minutes into the match. Speaking of, though, we did see the Falling Star move get popped. Cecilia, I'm going to go ahead and return fire with those bats, something to prove. Going to force Bombshell away in that river as Nefarious is looking to set up control of this neutral objective. They secured every objective so far in the game. Disappointing Retri, not disappointing at all in this match, has not been beat yet by this Karina, having a hard time with the heavy spin coming into play. Don't have something like a Diggy like we've seen in that last game to kind of help out that Karina, and now they are starting to pull on this blue buff. The members of DG, though, taking that opportunity to set up potentially an ambush in that river bush. Nothing coming their way as Nefarious swings wide left now. Azumi taking his positioning in that side bush, potentially going to be looking for that back line as things start out. So Improve rushing in for the poke there now. Nefarious starting to step up. We do see, again, like I said, Azumi looking for that back line, potentially doing a good job of dropping members low. Warriors currently low. Some of the low, though, may have overstepped there, losing that image, but now he does go in with a Blazing Duet. Not going to find too much damage, though, but Norbert in a rock right now as he has transferred to the back line, found a kill on Son to Prove, but that's going to be a mage for a support, not what you want there. Karina finally finding that retribution, though, does steal that Lord from the side of Nefarious, and what a huge momentum swing for the side of Demigods. You lose your mage, but you finally pick up the neutral, and it's the first Lord of the game going into your hand. Forget the pet turtles. We got the Lord on our side, Demigod says.
Absolutely. And I know the side of Nefarious is definitely telling, Disappointing Retri that your name is becoming a little too accurate. And this match goes on, we can't be, seeing that repeat itself. You have to make that Retri promising for your team. You have to secure these neutral objectives. We saw him picking up, those turtles, but it really comes down. You can give up a turtle, but as long as you're, getting those trades elsewhere, it wouldn't really, matter because you're balancing it off. But in things like Lords, especially when they start getting enhanced, you can't give that up. You have to use your zone potential. You have to secure these neutrals and be disciplined.
Speaking of discipline there, heavy spin coming out, gonna find this Carmilla pinned up against that blue buff wall, does secure that kill. Warrior getting taken down from the side of Demigods, a 1-for-0 trade in the favor of Nefarious. But speaking of trades, though, Tower going to get taken down in the top side by Demigods. I don't know if that was the right call by Karina. Going to try to Shadow Assault out, but will ultimately be taken out potentially. No! Going to be able to immune that damage from Claude with that basic attack immunity. What a great escape and a great tower taken down. Make that 2 towers as the side of Demigods does take the mid lane as well. We do have a request for a pause, a little breather, a little intermission in the action, if you will, that both of these teams are bringing.
Absolutely. And speaking of action, it's like I said in the draft phase, right? The side of Nefarious, they do have a beautiful, beautiful team fight composition. I'm really expecting for them to actually do these combos. Let's see something fancy. Even though this is the MLSA, it's okay for us to get some TikTok style gameplays. You know, give us some clips. Let's see something fancy. Come in with the Blazing Duet. Come in with the Martyrs to execute. Let us have some bangers, you know? Bring the energy, bring the heat. Shout out to, you know, bring the heat. But yeah, I really want to see Nefarious execute this team fight composition and just give us a show.
Absolutely, they do have the AoE, right? They have the walk down, and they have that late game in their pocket. So even though they did lose this first Lord to Demigods, there's more Lords to come, enhanced Lords. And speaking of enhanced Lords, the composition, right, for the side of Nefarious is going to get enhanced. Sicilion going to be growing with those stacks to make that Bats Feast do a little more damage as this game goes along. Demigods ultimately going to be on the back end and have to find a way to maybe potentially pick off those members or get a good link, right, from Carmilla. Let that Cursed Blood be able to find a way for the AoE damage to come through and go ahead and create an availability, right, to go ahead and take out those members of Nefarious. But speaking of things opening up, we are going to go ahead and resume this match. Just a little recap, like we said, Demigods did pick up that Lord 2 towers and now make that 3 as they pick up that tier 2 on the bot side. After the action has resumed, now taking a stake in this bot side jungle of Nefarious. So they are now currently grouping up, looking to maybe catch somebody out of position here. We do see Warrior going for the check crossbow. Tang almost being procced by DG's gold laner here, but the gold laner from Nefarious doing a good job of finding an opening to take a tower to get some macro involved in this match. Both teams jockeying for position here. DG again on the hunt, though, looking for that crossbow attaining. The side of Nefarious has to be careful. We are in that late game, and while they have an overwhelming composition for the late in those 2 picks, you cannot disrespect the fact that there is a Wan currently sitting 5-1 for the side of Demigods. All it takes is one crossbow tank, right, to kind of flip this game on its side. The kills able to stack up rapidly for the side of Demigods to go ahead and flip this match upside down. But Nefarious, like we said, does have the potential to go ahead and overwhelm Demigods with the composition they currently have slated.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned that 1-1. Speaking of items, she's stacking that physical penetration. We see her picking up the Malefic Road. She has her items. So all she needs is 1. We do see Kagura building into her third core item, that Holy Crystal, which is going to help her burst even more now that she needed it. She's been doing a very good job getting the damage in. We see them and putting these items and making them work as they zone and set up for this Lord fight. We do see it engage though.
Crossbow tank did get popped by a good winter truncheon coming out from the side of Nefarious. As Akai is going to go ahead and pick up that Lord. Something to prove here, though, on the Sicilian getting chased down as Zumi finds a kill on the Wan. Bombshell trying to find that, does secure that kill, but a Blazing Duet coming out, going to get taken out, though, by Karina. Shadow Assault on the escape from Azumi, who's on the hunt. Decimation has ran out, though. Esmeralda, though, with a falling Star Moon, looking to potentially trade this out. Azumi finding that Cyclone Wind to provide some mobility as the Esmeralda's going to have to back off. But now, right, that enhanced Lord in play. 2 members from both sides here, while Azumi is up top, currently going to have to recall here. The enhanced Lord going to go ahead and push down at this mid tower. Should be able to secure that. Probably not going to be able to go for much more as both members emptied out the tank there. As far as their players, a lot of lives were hanging in the balance. Oh no, they do find another tower though on the top side in the hands of this Akai here. So able to get 2 towers off this Lord, which is pretty good. They do almost even up the towers. They were down 6-3, but now 6-5. Speaking of things being secured, though, heavy spin on the Wan in the jungle. Holy Baptism to follow up. Going to get taken out by Raphaelia. That's a marksman down from the side of Demigods. Morco's coming in, looking to find another kill. Killing spree as the Decimation does ring freedom down. The Fairies on the push. Double kill from the Decimation. Could be looking for a third here. Taking a lot of damage, though, from the tower. Doesn't get shut down by Esmeralda, who was also on the killing spree. A little CC from Akai there, but now Shadow Assault coming in from Karina, trying to find something, getting put in an uncomfortable position here, but Claude now is on the map, doing a lot of damage to Esmeralda. Not before she secures a kill with the falling Star Moon on Akai there. Sicilion going to pick up that kill, though. It's only 1 member from the side of Demigods and currently having to recall, but 3 members from Nefarious are looking to close out this game. Blazing Duet has came out to empty out that wave, and the top side Warrior and Karina all left alone, but the Lynx has found 3 members on the side of Nefarious. The last 3 members on the side of Nefarious, they're going to go ahead and disengage now that Wan has spawned in. But what a fight, what a push. Both teams putting it all on the line to take out for match 2 of King of the Hill.
Absolutely, and I like what I'm seeing. The side of Nefarious, they were able to capitalize. Speaking of liking what I'm seeing, we saw Claude pick up that Athena shield, and as we know, the only one who can really burst them down is that Kagura, and picking up the item is going to help mitigate her burst damage, especially since she just completed her first 3 core items to get that damage out. We do see Wan. She has the wind in nature, so hopefully she can, make some outplays to survive that blazing duet, though. However, I don't think it's gonna help her. We see Cecilion picking up that divine glaive. When he hits her with them bats, right? You can't use your wind in nature to mitigate that magic damage, and that true damage from Martis coming in with the mortal coils as well. So she is gonna be caught between a rock and a hard place, and she's really gonna need the help of Warrior as that front line with those, tanky defensive items. She's definitely gonna need a Warrior on her side when these team fights get started. And speaking of team fights, I like both teams, Proxy and the lanes, trying to keep it up. It is in favor of the side of Nefarious right now, as they do have the upper hand over this Enhanced Lord. So I like what I'm seeing so far. We saw the match, the fights, the excitement. They're listening to us, they're giving us. We see them, testing the waters around this Lord, poking. Speaking of poke, though,
we are seeing the engage coming in from Demigod's killing spree, as Karina is going to find that heavy spin in response. So Cecilion doing a lot of damage with that bad speed. He's going to find Bombshell on this Esmeralda. Now Uzumi on top. Now that the immortality has been popped from Karina, Decimation going to find a way to shut down Human Birdie on Karina. He is looking for more. Decimation sprint now with a flicker, going to find Norbert here. That's going to be a kill picked up by Something to Love. 2 members down for the side of Demigods, but only 1 pick going down the Roamer. For the side of Nefarious is going to open up a great opportunity for them to start up this Lord, as DG has recalled it all the way back to base.
And that's what I'm saying. They need Warrior to have these sets. They need to engage, bait out some ultimates. Don't engage, because when you engage, you have the Wan who can be able to get her ultimate off of the Akai. If you can bait out some of these skills and utility from the side of Nefarious, the team fight can definitely sway in the favor of Demigods. Speaking of things swaying in favors, though, we do see Nefarious being able to pick up this Lord uncontested. We do see Claude deep in their jungle, stealing, living up to the Nefarious, title, putting meaning to the word. They don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. They're not all bark, they're also bite, and they are constantly reminding us. And I don't think it seems like Demigods is used to being bit. Usually when we see them in the Land of Dawn, they're the ones securing these Enhanced Lords. They're the one proxying the lanes. They always give us some beautiful gameplays, but I don't know. Nefarious is like, okay, we need to remind y'all who we are and put some respect on our name. Like, we're wanted for a reason. We're the people of fair, and they're definitely inflicting fair in the side of Demigods right now. They're not looking like gods right now. They're looking like mortals in comparison to Nefarious.
Speaking, though, of this Lord, not a mortal in its own right, a very strong, enhanced, luminous Lord, as the members of Nefarious looking to close out. They have synced these waves, force Esmeralda back. That could be a bot inhibitor. That could be lost from the side of Demigods. It's something to prove. Is going to start working on this with Something to Love. They are going to go ahead and secure that tower. No, Esmeralda able to save it. Lord being taken out as well. Now they will have to direct attention to the mid lane. Is almost falling. They do find the bot inhibitor. Now they found the mid inhibitor. The complete base of Demigods wide open for Nefarious to be able to end this game when the opportunity arrives. Now that the side of Demigods has nothing really to defend, 5 bodies in the Nexus is all they have left in the defense against Nefarious to potentially be able to win out this game. But a pause coming into play from the side of Nefarious, a little break in the action, and wow, a lot has happened since the last pause. It was looking kind of even in between the teams, but now Nefarious enforcing their will, right, cracking down the base of Demigods, who's reeling and holding on to the last little bit of hope that they have left to overcome this deficit.
Absolutely. Before the pause, we did see that there was a 7,000 gold lead as well on the side of Nefarious. So they're really playing this game and using these objectives to their advantage. They're taking trades, they're in jungle, they're invading, they're making the most out of what we would consider as dead space between, waiting to see which lane the Lord is going to go down on. They're really benefiting off of these objectives. And Man, I don't know. It's like I was saying in the draft, I'm always going to bring this up. They have the composition for late game, and now is their time to shine, and they're definitely blazing it up. Speaking of blazing, that blazing duet for Cloud, we're getting into late game. We're going to see him shredding.
We are going to see him shredding now. Like you said, the late game has been unlocked in between both of these teams with that Siciliano, with that Claude, obviously hitting exactly where they need to be in this very late stages of the game. And Demigods having to try to deal with it, not doing a very good job so far, obviously, losing a lot of ground in this match since we passed over around that 15-minute mark, since that first enhanced Lord. Things starting to go into the favor of Nefarious and looking like they can potentially close out this game. They're going to have to try to find a way, right, like we said, to be able to deal with this composition. And they did do a good job at one point, right? At one point, we did see this XP laner Bombshell and Esmeralda able to hunt down, ignore this name, and find a kill. And that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to find a way to get one of those pieces from Nefarious out. It has to be the Clyde or it has to be the Sicilian. And they also have to realize when they're getting too low in the fight, because Azumi has made a couple critical rotations, a couple flanks later on in those fights when the members are low and trying to find a way to escape. And Azumi on the exit route able to find some decimations, picking up a kill or two on the favor of Nefarious when those members of Demigods are trying to go for that recall. But now, like we said, the pressure is on for the side of Demigods. They're going to have to find a way to not only deal with Nefarious, but with these increasingly sizable waves of minions that now have an opportunity to even end the game themselves, now that those inhibitor turrets are down for the side of Demigods.
Absolutely. Speaking of, gaining items here, let's take a look at the items, because we're heading into the last few minutes of the game, possibly. We do see that Esmeralda's full build. Kagura's working on her last item. We do see Wan full build as well. So she's stacked. We see Sicilian full build. He picked up the Ice Queen Wan. He's going to be adding way more utility with the slows as well. We do see Rafaela picking up that Winter Truncheon, which, as we saw her use the previous Lord fight, she was able to bait out the entire crossbow attack from 1-1. So that's gonna help the side of Nefarious, mitigate that damage and kind of waste out the utility that she has there. Speaking of things being wasted and utilities, we do see the side of Nefarious having their Martis and Claude trying to push this game. So maybe they're going to use this Lord as a distraction to possibly, push for a back door. Who knows here?
They definitely could. There is currently a 2v1, but now the members of Demigods responding to this, and Nefarious going to act on this information as they will go ahead and start up this Lord. Now that they have got those waves pressure, Demigods not going to be able to leave this base safely to go ahead and contest. But no, it looks like they're going to go for it anyways. And Lee Norbert on the defense as Warrior and company are on their way to go ahead and go for this. But more close out from Azumi, going to delay Warrior for this engage. He's dropping low now. Decimation has been proc. Finds one member there from the side of Demigods, 1 for 0 trade so far. Blazing Wet in the background. He is trying to find a kill on Norbert. Does pick up a kill, 2 for 0 trade so far in the favor of Nefarious. Now the attempt is getting desperate as that mid lane is getting pushed. Esmeralda going to get taken out as well. A killing spree for Sicilian. They can really just go for the end on this game. Karina picks up the Lord, but at what cost? As all members are falling down. Karina is looking to be next. Does find a Shadow Assault and pop the immortality of Azumi. Now going for the recall. A Lord does spawn in for the side of Demigods, though, as they did secure that Lord. And the members of Nefarious weren't able to end that game. I guess Wan picking up a kill off screen there. Karina still alive as Wan picks up a double kill with a defense right now. Shadow Assault coming from Karina, almost finds this Martyrs. No, he does. A 1-for-1 trade off there in the bush. Demigods might have just flipped this match, and Karina might have been the one finding a way to give Demigods a chance to go on the attack here, as DG is going to follow up with this Lord. All there is a Kai and a Raphaelia here for the defense. 2 immortalities in their hands and a couple of inhibitors turrets. But 1-1 doing a good job trying to get this Lord walking up. Does have the marks currently being popped. Trying to get that crossbow attack. His Lord goes for the clash, goes for the charge, does take down the mid inhibitor. Now 1-1 walking up with this Lord, looking to end this game. Holy Baptism, though, going to catch him, but it's going to be able to break that purify. Heavy spin coming out, trying to keep him down. Does find the kill, but the base gets taken down by Lord, and Demigods finding a way to come back and spoil Nefarious in this match to a king of the hill.
Absolutely. They said, y'all may be criminals, but we're the demigods. Don't they heard me calling them mortals. They said, Ram, you can't be doing that. You got to put some respect on our name. So they definitely, executed this composition beautifully. All it took was one mistake. Even though we do see some, chocolates on the field, they did have some sweet plays. They were each very, detrimental in terms of what happened. Looking at the damage, 1-1. Push that she executed, the damage that she output, beautiful stats all around from the side of 1-1. If we look at the stats of Nefarious, they have a big team fight potential, but honestly the team fight that mattered most is the one that cost them the game. So I'm not even gonna pay them team fight stats no mind. So beautiful game though overall to the side of Demigods and Nefarious. It was a thrill to see.
Definitely a thrill to see indeed, and what a match. Looks like we got some new Kings of the Hill as Demigods was able to take that win. Not only a win, but we got to give it to the nameless marksman over there, the Wan, all by herself against the Nakai, Rafaela, and only having the Lord in her hands and be able to clutch it with an epic comeback kind of style. Things were looking very shaky. And I want to say that's one of the most impressive matches I have seen, especially one of the most impressive closeouts. Is 1-1 knew exactly where to be. Typically, some of your marksmen might play a little safe there and not be confident in being able to end the game that way. And to see 1-1 capitalize that way, rush in with the Lord, even with the 2v1 situation, and close it out was phenomenal. But speaking of phenomenal, that is going to be the new Kings of the Hill, Demigods, a team from the Wild Wild West, as they do knock off Nefarious. And like we said, Demigods kind of on the rise. They caught us by surprise randomly. They're new to the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, joining last week, but nonetheless starting to show us their true colors as possibly being vets going forward as we progress through the season. But speaking about progression, speaking about going forward, that is not it. We have multiple teams trying to challenge and take this crown today, but the crown is on a new head, as Demigods are the ones to hold it. And the question is, who will take them out? That's right, guys. Today is King of the Hill, and the rules are simple. First come, first serve, best of one, and winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday from 8 p.m. Eastern time. So what are you guys waiting for? Make sure you guys sign up through the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy now over on Discord and sign your teams up and get ready to compete. The whole purpose for this is to get you guys ready for NAMPL, and that's what all these teams are working for. And after seeing gameplay like that, I can definitely say they are ready, and it's right around the corner. So don't go nowhere, grab some popcorn, get some drinks, as we have more challengers on the way to try and steal the crown from the team of the Wild Wild West.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. Being in when you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, never wanna forget. To forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn. It's an insane turnaround from the Demigods to kind of close out that game against Nefarious. What a play. Was able to sneak it with Wanwan with the Lord on her side against the Akai, against the Rafaela, and snatched the crown off of Nefarious. So now we have a new King of the Hill, and not just a new King of the Hill, the team from the Wild Wild West. And this is super interesting indeed. I was wondering how they would fare off against some of these more seasoned teams competing, but now kind of earning their seniority as we progress through today's King of the Hill. That's right, guys. Today is week 4, day 1, King of the Hill, and the rules are simple. It is a first come, first serve, best of 1. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday from 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys are interested in signing up, all you have to do is follow us over on Discord, our Mobile Legends Scrim Academy official Discord server, to register yourself to compete. If you're a solo player and you're looking for a team, no worries, we offer that as well. All you have to do is sign up. We have a looking for a team post where you can put all of your lovely information, and some of these top teams that you see competing now may reach out to you. If you do have a team, even better. All you have to do is stop by on our Discord server, register your team, and you guys are good to compete. There is no pre-requirements. The only requirement really is that you guys are in North America. The whole focus for this is to prepare everybody on the NA scene for basically NPL North America. So everything is casted on a professional platform, and these teams are going against some of the top teams in North America. And like we seen in last match, the competition is definitely there. So look forward to you guys kind of signing up, competing. And also a special shout out to everybody over on YouTube and all of our social media platforms. That's right, the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy has an official YouTube channel where we go live on every Monday through Thursday. Then we also put out content on the weekends exclusively to that platform. So make sure you guys subscribe over there and follow, and also watch the live streams as we progress through the weeks. Speaking of special shout out to Coach Deku. He is the play-by-play and analyst you've been hearing today. And also a special shout out to Rim, as he's been kind of dominating as well in the same fashion. So like I said, guys, appreciate y'all, appreciate everybody being here, and let's get into today's game as we have an insane lineup. That's right, we have Nova Corps versus the Demigods. Nova Corps, a team with possibly one of the best roams in their hands, also one of the best placement teams in terms of being in the right place at the right time and having some of the best micro and macro you'll ever see in North America. But they're going up against the Wild Wild West team Demigods, who's kind of been known to be that surprising factor to close out these games with some insane finishes. So definitely going forward, I'm excited to see what both of these teams are going to bring to the table.
Absolutely. And speaking of bringing things to the table, we do see, looking at the draft right now, two of those very strong meta picks being picked up on both sides. It's a very even trade-off. We do see the side of Nova Corps picking up that Carmilla and the side of Demigods picking up the Martis. Now, we saw last game that Martis had, you know, some really clutch escape potential. He also has, you know, the insane damage and heavy team fight presence. It is looking like it's going to be slotted in the jungle right now. Speaking of things being slotted, we see who is Peter picking up this Alice. And it's not the first time that Nova Corps has picked this Alice in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. And I'm looking forward to it because usually when they slot this Alice, it's usually in the EXP lane. And we see her all the way down in the enemy's base, you know, taking these minions, getting that passive up so she can be more beneficial during the team fights and have more presence in the game. We do know that she's also received a lot of buffs in the recent patches lately. So she's definitely securing her spot as a strong contender and a strong pick, especially in the first half of the draft phase in the early game in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. We do see Jolie Don't Care locking in that Irithel to pair up against that Leslie. Now, just like the 1-1 and Claude composition, it's kind of like the same thing that we're going to be seeing. The Irithel can dance around that Leslie while dishing out that damage. She has the mobility. She's not stuck in one place. She has the damage as well. Speaking of things being able to dance around, we do see the side of Demigods picking up the Atlas, denying it from Nova Corps, because, and you can tell that when a team has done their research. We do know that Nova Corps likes slotting this Atlas and comboing it with who is Peter on these, you know, wildcard mages. And they have that synergy, that tag mate synergy that you wish as a solo queue player you could experience, but you can't because S5 is tanking because he got forced on tank, and you don't get that in solo queue. But when you're going against these teams, it's important to do your research and know what you're going against. Speaking of going against, them picking the Atlas and batting out the Diggy, enabling these sets, making these team fights actually happen without having to worry about being countered in the draft. So I do like the early game draft that the side of Demigods has on their side so far.
Yeah, I'm loving the draft so far, right? Warrior over there picking up that Atlas. Gonna have those Fatal Links to kind of work against the side of Nova Corps, but the question is, will he be able to connect with them? A team like Nova Corps having some really good placement, it's not going to give you the easiest time with these potential sets. But speaking of potential, who is Peter locking in that Alice? I know you said we've kind of seen it a few times over there from Nova Corps, and I'm interested to see how it kind of works in this composition. Not your typical pick, but it doesn't mean it's a bad pick. Super interested to see how this goes. Leslie, Jolie Don't Care, we know is a master marksman and definitely have to be a little bit careful against it. But you are going against the unnamed marksman over there for the side of Demigods, the one who played the 1-1 and closed the game out with nothing but the Lord on her side in a 2v1 situation going up against the Akai and the Rafaela. And like I said, if anybody can get it done, it's definitely Jolie Don't Care, but you are going up against a future contender, a future master marksman for the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. So having to be a little careful in the gold lane. It's going to be an interesting fight. Nova Ash picking up that Carmilla, that jungle Carmilla. I like it. It's definitely going to possibly be jungle, especially with that Alice being slotted, which is kind of interesting. It's like a double type mage support meta going for the side of Nova Corps right now, but you have to look at what you're going against. You're going against that Martis, Bombshell over there. It's going to have those mortal coils to work in his favor. Definitely an advantage when he is going to go for these neutral objectives in the early game. Speaking about objectives though, Norbert hovering over the Farza, not the worst decision. Farza kind of getting the job done in the early game, also having the Feathered Airstrike for the AoE damage and the Wings by Wings to get out of those tricky situations, and also pave the way in the early game with that mobility. So damage is there. You have DG, the unnamed sniper, or on the side of Demigods with the Leslie. That's going to be guaranteed late game damage, and also vision on the map to watch out for those pickoffs when you use that ultimate sniper. Farza for the early game damage is definitely going to be a good plan and making the most out of Warrior sets. Now we have to see, for the side of Novacore, what do you respond with? You have a little bit of frontline with the Carmilla, you have a little bit more with the Alice, and now they're going to go the support route even further, and it's going to lock in the Mathilda.
Absolutely. And looking at the drafts right now, the Farsa pick, they do have on the side of Demigods, they have the late game, as you mentioned, with DG, the sniper on that Leslie, as well as the early game with that Farsa. However, seeing the response from Novacore to those picks, I think that we may not get to see this, late game transition, because that Farsa, you mentioned a very important word earlier, mobility, and we do see a lot of mobility on the side of Novacore. And even where mobility is lacking from heroes, picking up that Mathilda, giving them that extra dash, that extra shield, and extra sustain, as well as speed up, is gonna make it harder for Nobird on that Farsa to land these feathered airstrikes. So they're definitely going to have to depend on their mighty, strong warrior to get these sets to make that damage, that burst, actually excel. Speaking of sustain, we see them locking in the Esmeralda to finalize their draft to pair up against the Lapu Lapu, which we have been seeing make a comeback into the meta and in the MLSA. So putting you on the spot, Weasley, we're in the last few seconds right now. You don't know any of these teams, you have no prior history, you never casted for any of them before. Based off of the draft, who are you in favor of right now?
Well, looking at the draft, I've always been a Martis fan, so I'm definitely going to go to the side of Demigods for a couple of reasons. For the side that they have Farza, that early game damage presence, and also comboing that with the Fatal Links on Atlas may be very hard to deal with. So I'm expecting a game plan from the side of Novacore. But if I go off of team stats, right? Novacore has supreme title holders, and also they have a huge hero pool. But like I said, sometimes these wildcard picks are what cost teams the game. So I'm really expecting to see who is Peter kind of dominate, deciding to put Alice in that mid lane position. Now we are seeing Esmeralda be picked up, right? And what Esmeralda kind of capitalizes on is cutting lanes and creating opportunity from these split pushes for the neutral objectives. And that is what you're seeing here, kind of playing that role down to the T. Nova Ash trying to stop them from proxying that lane and not able to stop that. Looking on the bottom side, that Leslie, that Iritha, both of these some really decent marksmen, but Iritha having a little bit of easier time with the mobility, but Leslie with a little bit more range. But speaking of clashes though, you are going to see a kill over there by Human Bird, taking out Nova Ash. Bombshell on the chase. Does not have decimation in his hands yet, as he is only level 2, but that is first blood already for the side of Demigods.
Absolutely, and it might be a second blood right here. Not able to finish the kill. Beautiful escape from who is Peter using that teleport on Alice. And we actually saw them slotted in the mid lane. I was not expecting her to be around in the mid, but it does make sense. We all know with the recent changes to the laning phase in the early game that we have 4 minions instead of 3 now. So that helps her build her passive stacks up faster, to enable her, get her online earlier in the game. So I do like that they put it in the hands of Peter, who we all know is a really decent mage. And he's able to play these mage, even if it's mechanical or not. He loves and excels on these picks. Speaking of things excelling, we do see some poke happening here in the gold lane.
A little bit of chase on the warrior, down to almost a quarter of HP, but able to get out. And like we said, this is a battle of getting to level 4 and going for this first neutral objective, as Turtle has spawned in. You do see on the bottom lane though, Jolie having a little bit of easier time bursting it down that Leslie. But both marksmen still in play, neither has fallen, so that's really decent for both sides. But going forward, I'm expecting a little bit of a gank from either team to kind of win that lane. But speaking of wins, you are going to see the retribution into the hands of Bombshell on this Martis jungler, which is going to give him a slight advantage, even more than they already had with that first blood, and they are now up 600 gold.
Absolutely. Speaking of being up in gold, we do see some core items being picked up. We see Carmilla with I don't know what's it called, but it burns them. It's going to help her clear the jungle out faster. We see Alice picking up the Elegant Gem is going to help her sustain, regen that HP and mana. Farsa as well picking it up. We do see Swift Boots, so Irithel is probably going to build into that attack speed to help her clear the lanes faster against this Leslie. Speaking of things being done faster, we see Warrior trying to get in, but Nova's like, no, I got my dash. I'm cool. Back out of here. But maybe not, though.
Well, maybe not. Mathilda able to get a kill onto that Atlas. Now 0-1-1. A little too much over aggression and not really able to win something off of that trade. Now 1-1, even in kills, but not even in gold, as we are seeing Novacore kind of take the lead now. Speaking of lead, a possible clash going in as they are trying to proxy these minions. Feathered Airstrike coming out by Norbit for a little bit of defense for the side of Demigods. And Martis making the most of it is going to go ahead and get that decimation off just in time and takes out Nobody-chan.
And that's the thing. It goes down to discipline. These teams are high caliber teams. They're able to make a trade. They're able to get something. Speaking of trade and getting something, we do see Atlas with the Fatal Links grabbing Jolie Don't Care and Leslie getting the job done. And that's the type of things that you have to keep in mind. You know you're by yourself. Play safe. Don't get caught out like that.
Speaking of safe, you do see the unnamed marksman, Leslie, getting a kill over there onto Jolie Don't Care. It's going to give him a slight advantage, and this is what you want, like we said. Pave that early game for your marksman. Warrior doing a really good job in terms of pilling, in terms of creating that opportunity for Leslie. But speaking of opportunity, though, Nova Ash, a little bit of vision. Gonna let them know Atlas is in effect. Jolie definitely does not want to push out right now. But speaking of push out, you do see the Feathered Airstrike trying to steal the blue buff, and it was secured over there by Carmilla right now. Interesting. Nova Ash on the bottom side, though, does get a kill. Speaking of kills, DG in a bad situation, as you do see Nova Ash and Jolie behind the tower. Is going to go ahead and try and get some burst damage, and down goes the unnamed marksman. Down goes Leslie for the side of Demigods. You are seeing a clash, though, on the turtle. Bombshell able to secure another turtle, another neutral objective with that retribution. But at what cost? The Falling Star Moon does go down, and Human Bird is going to secure that kill onto who is Peter. But speaking of kills, Celestial going in with the Lapu Lapu, taking the kill on to the Martis. And now Human Bird deciding to kind of reevaluate that situation and disengage it. But now 4-4. Speaking of the match, though, Norbit with this Feathered Airstrike able to keep a lot of Novacore at bay as they do not want to rush in for that damage. This is what we kind of talked about with that Farza, right? That AoE potential that the Feathered Airstrike provides, and also that mobility from the Wings by Wings. But speaking of mobility, Human Bird basically able to have an easier time with this Esmeralda, as he's going to go ahead and proxy these minions and cut this lane. Speaking of cuts, though, both teams kind of grouping up, possibly preparing for a clash. But that tower over there on the side for Novacore is hanging on by a thread in the XP lane. Atlas rushing in, possibly going for Fatal Links, but decides to kind of get away from that situation. He does not have his team on his side to make the most of it.
Absolutely. Speaking of making the most out of things, looking at these items, we do see Lapu Lapu building up that Hunter Strike. So he definitely has the early game penetration to back off with that movement speed. Speaking of backing off, though,
Fatal Links into the tower. Nobody-chan taking down Atlas in that process, though, and now you're seeing Jolie Don't Care to burst down that tower, and that will be a huge advantage for the side of Novacore as they have taken a tower in the gold lane. DG caught in a dangerous position, but Jolie Don't Care using Mathilda to dash out, circling Eagle, connecting onto Norbert, but forcing Nova Ash into the backline. Alice trying to give some life, still trying to rush in for some AoE damage. Bombshell with the decimation gets a kill, and then Celestial responding back, takes out Farza with the Brave Fighter stance, but fight is not over, as you do see Falling Star Moon by Esmeralda rushing in onto Jolie Don't Care. 4v1 situation. Human Bird with the wise decision going into the tower, has a little bit of backup from Warrior on this Atlas, but is it enough? Man, oh man, these teams clashing it out 6-5 right now into the hands of Novacore, and also in terms of gold up by 2,000.
Absolutely. And speaking of being up, I mentioned that the side of Novacore, they have the mobility, and I thought the Farsa was going to have a hard time connecting those Feathered Airstrikes, but she's really proven me wrong. The synergy on the side of Demigods right now, it's immaculate. They're not letting Novacore be able to use this composition to their advantage, even though they have counters to the damage dealers on the side of Demigods. They're not letting it be a counter for them.
Ooh, speaking of side of Demigods, you are seeing a little bit of ping pong from Jolie and Celestial, and down goes the unnamed sniper. Leslie, but at what cost is Warrior rushing in with the Fatal Links, connects. Can they get the kill though? You are seeing Jolie Don't Care rushing out with that heavy crossbow. That's the beautiful thing about this Irithel with that mobility, but Bombshell having different plans. Gonna use that decimation and take down Irithel. Down goes the marksman. A marksman for a marksman, an eye for an eye, a 1v1 trade, but you are gonna see Nobody Chan securing a kill over on Jolie Don't Care. Oh no, actually over on to Norbit. Down goes the Farza. Man, 8-6, 7 minutes in, going to that 8-minute mark, but a high kill game on the way from both sides. But if we're looking at real estate, right, no towers have fallen for the side of Novacore, and in response, they have taken the first tower in the XP lane and also the first tower in the gold lane and working their way for this mid as well.
Absolutely, and I like the pressure that the side of Demigods is applying right now. They have the early game momentum, even though they may have like a team that's more structured towards the late game, slotting that Leslie to dish out that true damage the longer this match goes on. Speaking of things being dished out, I want to take a look at the items right now because both teams are playing very aggressive. So I'm assuming some core items has been picked up. Speaking of core items being picked up, we see Farsha picking up the Lightning Chan, which is going to help her add to that burst, that poke in the early game. We see Leslie picking up the Hunter Strike, I think that is the little knife there, you know, Blade of Heptases, yes. So she's embracing her inner Atlas, you know, with the underwater things to give her more penetration to add to the damage of her first skill and her passive as well. We do see some lifesteal coming out from Lapu Lapi, which is gonna help him sustain in these team fights. We see Alice though picking up the Dominance Ice, which is gonna help a lot when her and Esmeralda's in these team fights being very, you know, annoying, focusing on the backline. Speaking of focusing on the backline, though.
Was Peter able to get a kill on the Warrior? Down goes Atlas. Jolie Don't Care taking out the Leslie, and then who was Peter with another kill is going to go ahead and take out Farza. What a play as 3 members are down. Killing spree activated by Esmeralda right now as they take out Nobody Chun. And man, oh man, a 3-for-1 trade. Definitely leaning into the favor of Novacore. They are making their way into this mid tower, and down it goes. But speaking of down, Human Bird forced to use that Falling Star Moon to escape. Who is Peter? Taking out Bombshell, and that is another kill into the hands of Novacore. A 4-for-1 trade, and not only 4-for-1, they're also able to steal that mid tower. And what does that happen? What does that create? That creates the opportunity to move around this map, to be able to split push and create more ganks to possibly go for that early finish in a smart move for the side of Novacore.
Now, what I love about Novacore, they're accustomed and they're, you know, if they're put in an uncomfortable position, they're confident enough in their synergy to be able to come back. They're capitalizing off of some of these mistakes. They're realizing their win conditions, baiting out these ultimates. And Warrior, he's not really going for these multi-people sets. We've seen him. The Fatal Links at most has connected on at least like 2 people, if I'm recalling correctly right now. So we definitely need to see some more AoE focus instead of pickoffs, because these pickoffs are wasting so much utility on the side of Demigods, but then when the rest of Novacore shows up, they have no response for it. So they definitely need to put some more faith in Warrior, and he has to execute and get a good Fatal Link set to capitalize off of the composition that Demigods is working with right now.
And that's an excellent point, right? We're seeing Warrior have a little bit of a harder time getting online for these Fatal Links. Speaking of online, though, for the airstrike for the AoE damage. But to his Peter with different plans on the Alice, getting to that back lane and getting to that back line, bursting him down. Leslie getting a kill. Bombshell getting a kill onto who is Peter. That is 2 members down for the side of Demigods to 1 on the side of Novacore. Lord working his way to the Nexus, but can they close out the game for the side of Novacore? Circling Eagle connecting. Celestial getting a kill. A killing spree, matter of fact, onto Esmeralda. Fatal Links connecting onto Warrior, but fight not over. Nexus going down to a quarter of HP, and ladies and gentlemen, that will be the game into the hands of Novacore to close it out and snatch the crown from the Demigods.
Speaking of snatching the crowns, it's like I was saying, Novacore, a team able to capitalize off of these bad engagements and these mistakes from the enemy team. Speaking of, we see these items. Irithel, almost being full build, able to come online on the side of Novacore. I don't know, man. Warrior, I mentioned the chocolates last game, but I don't even think he deserves the chocolate. Chocolates are too sweet right now, and he wasn't given any, sweet sets last game. So I'm pretty sure the side of Demigods, they definitely have to go back to the drawing board and analyze. Speaking of analyzation, looking at the stats, we see Mathilda, Nova Ash with this heavy team fight participation, 82%. On the side of Demigods, we are seeing Esmeralda having the most turret damage. I'm sorry, was she the fighter or was she the marksman? Because she's doing everybody's job at this point. She needs a raise, to be honest. So after they go back to the drawing board and they have that meeting, give Esmeralda a raise because she deserves it. She's doing her job, the ADC's job, the tank's job, because she has more damage taken as well. So honestly, MVP to Esmeralda. Speaking of MVPs though, I'm definitely gonna have to give it to Jolie Don't Care on that ADC. Able to just beautifully dance around with these engagements, use her team to their advantage on this Arithel, and just execute a beautiful final game for us.
Definitely a beautiful final game indeed from both of those members as they were clashing it out to claim the title for King of the Hill. And Nova Corps able to kind of snatch that crown from the team from the Wild Wild West. And we kind of were wondering how these two would fare off. Demigods, kind of that wild card team, has been very explosive since they joined the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy last week. Nova Corps has been kind of here since week 1, and we all know how well they can kind of perform. But even though they were able to take that win, I still got to give it to the side of Demigods as they were able to hold on to that title for a little bit. But I am interested to see how they progress going forward, as that's the whole purpose of this. We are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, created by myself, Coach Deku, Rim, Coulter over there in the background. You guys probably don't see him. He lives under my desk while I'm streaming, so appreciate him with all the hard work he does in the background. But guys, like I said, all these teams are competing for one reason and one reason only: to prepare for North America MPL. Everybody's going to be playing every single Monday through Thursday, practicing on a professional platform, professionally casted as well. That's right, we offer the opportunity for casters to jump in here and perfect their craft prior to NA MPL if that is up your alley, and that's kind of the avenue you guys want to go. Appreciate all the casters today as well. We got Coach Deku in here, we got Rim kind of helping out from the side of things, and then also myself as your host. And it's been a pleasure. But speaking of pleasures though, maybe not the last game, as a lot of these teams are competing, trying to take out Nova Corps now, who is the current king, snatching off that crown from the team from the Wild Wild West. But who are they going to go up against next? They are going to go up against Excellence Era. Now, this is going to be an interesting team indeed. We've kind of seen them compete from time to time, and I want to say they're pretty decent. There's some vets in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, but do they have enough fire underneath them to kind of take that win over Nova Corps? Find out here shortly, and if they do not step into here, we will be seeing another team step in that position to kind of steal that crown. So get your popcorn, grab some drinks, and we'll be right back with you guys momentarily.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. To forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, never wanna forget.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn. We are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and what an insane turn of events is Nova Corps able to snatch that crown from the demigods. They are now the new kings of the hills with one of the best tanks in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and you know, their gameplay goes to show exactly why they are the current kings of the hill. But a new opponent is at bay, and they have different plans. They are going to potentially try and snatch the crown off of Nova Corps' head. We do have an amazing team, a top 32 team in North America. Some of y'all know them as Mama's Eggs, and others know them as Huevo, and they will be embarking into the Land of the Dawn to go up against the kings of the hill, Nova Corps.
Definitely, we got a match on our hands here as Huevo has dug into their resources and made a little bit of a substitution, if you will, bringing in Akram and Kush for their lineup tonight in King of the Hill. Definitely not playing around. They want their wins, so requesting some backup from one of those players from one of the top teams, and not only in MLSA but North America, just to face off against Nova Corps here, who has been ringing bells. One of those teams, like Demigods, right, one of the newer teams. They actually just took out in their previous match, been causing a fuss in the MLSAs. They've been taking out some of these teams we've been accustomed to winning. But speaking of things happening though, over here in the draft, being very quick here throughout, we see a lot of picks already being slotted from both sides. It does look like some bans, a ban or two were missed though in between these teams, but it's like they're continuing on anyways with this draft. We already got 6 picks slotted as they are transferring over to the second phase of the bans already.
Absolutely, and like looking at these bans right now though, that Valentina is very, very up there right now. So Valentina's copy with all these ults with that Kaja and that Johnson and that single target, good CC with that Chow. It's gonna be very interesting. Like we said, we talked about this multiple times in our streams that you and I have casted, Deku. Every time Valentina gets drafted, there's a lot of pressure to the opponent's side. So Huevo here, definitely gonna have a lot of pressure when it comes to picking out these ults. And I mean, honestly, all these 3 ults, like that Kaja, the Johnson, and the Chow, is honestly not bad at all for the side of Novacore with that Valentina being able to copy anything. And with that being said, that Beatrix did get drafted out as long as that with that Claude. Claude's very good for that backline peel for any mages, any junglers out there. So Claude definitely got banned, and lately we've seen so many Beatrix players, and honestly, in my opinion, if you have a Beatrix on your team, no matter how bad you snowball kind of early game, as long as Beatrix gets some core items, it's a pretty high successful win for me. So Beatrix is definitely a good ban. Mage has not yet been picked up by the side of Huevo, but they did pick up a mage on the side of Novacore, so I'm surprised why they didn't ban a mage for the side of Novacore, but they did ban every single marksman they could possibly think of at this point. I mean, Beatrix is out, Irethel's out, Claude's out, and Wanwan's out, which leaves a very, very small pool for both sides to pick up their marksmen. I mean, there's a Bruno left. What else is there left right now? That's been like OP. There's Bruno, there is Carrie, there is... I don't know.
Leslie.
There's Natan? Leslie, yes, Leslie. I'm sorry, I forgot about that queen. But Leslie's still out. Bruno's actually not been that bad lately either. Carrie, like I mentioned, Carrie did just get picked up by who is Peter. I do wonder who is going to go against Carrie for the side of Huevo. But the thing is, like, with the side of Carrie's marksman, Carrie actually kind of struggles early game with Carrie has good damage early game, but no range. And with that being said about range, Brody did get picked up by the side of Huevo, which means good tower pushing by both sides, but Brody definitely has the upper advantage when it comes to range, and they are missing a mage still. I think this is going to be Chow's side and Johnson Rome, but I mean Johnson mid can still be a thing. So what do you think so far about draft, Deku?
I mean, so far between both of these teams, right, there's a lot of engage from the side of Huevo. They just picked up the Badang to go put into the hands of Ree. So you got engage from there, from Ree there. You have the engage from Kush on the Cho, engage from this Johnson as well, and then even from Carl Cutie on the Kaja. And from the side of Novacore, the only engage that you really have, and that's not even very reliable, right, is the Carmilla, but that's going to require the side of Huevo here to kind of group up and clump up for those links to really go down and be effective. So if I'm looking at least as far as the openings to these team fights and who can kind of make something happen, I mean, Huevo kind of has it in the bag for me, a lot of options to fall back on to go ahead and get those fights. And they can start a team fight with these picks or just secure the pick off. But speaking of securing things, though, they are going to lock in that Faramis on the side of Novacore to pair with that Carmilla, which is a pretty strong combination in its own right, but going to have to find a way to layer those skills properly to deal with the side of Huevo.
I mean, you were 100% right, but turning back to the conversation again with that Valentina would be very, very easy to pick off any single ult. I mean, honestly, I don't really know much about that Birdie ult, but every single ult from the side of Huevo, I think can come in pretty useful. I mean, Chow ult, beautiful CC. That Johnson, I mean, even just the car just running around just to give vision, beautiful. I mean, that Kaja single ult target CC, absolutely beautiful as well. And that Badang with that burst damage with his ult. I mean, I don't know. I mean, looking at this draft, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, early game, yes, side Huevo gets it, and initiation wise, yes, side Huevo gets it, but that sustain and that team fight, that engage and that sustain that comes in through Novacore, I'm gonna have to give it to Novacore. And we can already see Kush and that Badang already starting to pressure up that bot lane. And knowing with that marksman though, I don't know, because Carrie, I don't know about that pickoff though with that Carrie and that Brody. Brody already prioritizes range. Carrie has to kind of be up front in the face, but looks like Carrie's gonna be able to win off that lane just a little bit earlier than that Brody.
Definitely, and I mean, just to pair up with what you said about that sustain coming from the side of Novacore, that's actually a great thing for the side of Huevo as far as Brody goes. Brody being very strong in those prolonged team fights, able to get all those marks out. For that torn apart memory to go ahead and dish out a lot of damage. Speaking of damage, Ree getting taken out off a careless dive, gonna die to the tower. Not gonna go to anyone though, so at least the kill doesn't lead to any gold going to the side of Novacore. But speaking of pressure here, Kush on the way here with the G-Kundu, trying to secure this kill on Peter in the mid lane, just barely gonna miss out on that kill. But yeah, back to that prolong though. Brody gonna have a good time potentially in these team fights, and Yukinon is actually quite the Brody user. Brody and Clint being two of his mains. I kind of suspected he would maybe pick that up, especially once you pointed out, that marksman pool can be banned out pretty heavily. Gonna have to fall back on those comforts, and Brody, one of the comforts of Yukinon, he plays it like no other, does have a good opportunity to fight, especially in this matchup, because it's going to be a drawn-out fight from Novacore, right? Especially with that Cult Altar. Going to be looking to have those engages extend a little longer, and that's going to give Yukinon opportunity to dish out that damage. But speaking of damage, there a little push from Novacore, but Ackerman wisely going to go ahead and disengage ahead of this turtle.
Absolutely. Neutral objective turtle is now up. Both sides are, both junglers are actually a little bit behind turtle right now. Oh, and speaking of pickoffs, that Benedetta, beautiful dashes to finish off that Badang. I think that's the side of turtle might actually go to Novacore because they're side and they already have advantage over that turtle. Kush is trying, but Kush is already going to get picked off very easily. That Johnson's already driving. That Valentine did pick up that Johnson, but ended up crashing into a wall.
He crashed into a wall, but that turtle game picked up. Nova Ash finding a kill on Carl Cutie here. The members of Novacore currently did have that 2-0 advantage in picking up that neutral objective. It's gonna be very nice for them. And we do gotta talk about it, right? Reed did get picked off ahead of that turtle, and that kind of speaks to that the power of Benedetta, right? He tried to pull off what Benny can do with the cutting. That's not really something you can go for. With the Baudang, and I think we also have to point that out for the side of Novacore. While they do have a strong team fight presence, and the side of Weibo can kind of counteract that with those engages, something they still have the edge over is having the Benedetta. They can go for like a 4-1 formation, right? Take the forward man, take those strong picks for the team fight, and kind of match up against Weibo, and you let Benedetta kind of do her thing in those side lanes and go for those split pushes, and make Weibo have to decide what they want to go for. They want to go for the engage against those forward members, or go for the split pusher and Benedetta.
Absolutely, and look at if you focus real quick on that top lane, I think Brody's definitely going to get pressured up in a couple seconds here. But looking at items here, look at down below, there is no core items yet. Simple basic items have been picked up by the side of Kaja. And speaking of pickups, that Kaja just got kicked by the Spy Peter. Beautiful ult copy by that Valentina on that Kush, that CC. And speaking of also second pickup, that Brody did just solo kill that carry, and like I said earlier, carry's going to struggle just a little bit with that laning phase earlier in that earlier game. Carry needs to have at least a good core item in order to just burst down that Brody. I mean, that Brody already has range. It doesn't matter how low he is, as long as he doesn't touch that carry too much up front to her face. That Brody is definitely going to be able to see that lane. A little bit of invasion here, coming here by the side of Novacore, harassing that blue just a little bit.
Definitely, we do see the Cold Order being popped, though. Going to get quickly bursted out. Two members stuck in between the onslaught from Weibo. Bloodlinks does come down, though. We do see the G-Kundu flicker coming in from Kush. Pick up kill from Nova Ash there on the Kaja there, and Kush is going to find a kill as well in the bush. A 1-for-1 trade so far, but now Yukinon has joined into the fray. It might have been a misplay here, as Nova Ash is going to head and pull him with that Shadow Stampede right into the death trap of Jolie Don't Care on the carry. Now Kush being forced off that tower. Blueberry going to be able to find that kill. Good harvesting on that fruit there, turning Kush there into some squished berries there, as they are going to go ahead and transition potentially over to this turtle.
Absolutely. And both junglers still up, so that neutral ejected turtle again at that 5-minute mark now might be a little bit of a team fight going to go on. We're going to see that Johnson riding with that Brody, and that will possibly be a good pickup for the side of Huevo. All right, goodbye, Carrie. All right, beautiful trade from what happened at that mid lane, but that Valentina is definitely going to follow up. Mind you, that Valentina has that Johnson copy, so with that being said, she might take that Fairness off for a free Uber ride all the way down to Turtle.
And with the engage there, they are going to find a kill on Ree on the Badang, looking for more on Carl Cutie there. It's a double kill falling to the hands of who is Peter, no, who is Weibo, as they are trying to find their identity, as Novacore is picking them apart piece by piece as they are starting to work on this turtle.
Absolutely. That turtle's definitely be picked up by the side of Novacore for 100% sure. Alright, first turret is down by the side of Huevo. Turtle's been picked up. Johnson's struggling just a little bit down here in the mid lane, but definitely going to get picked off as well. So that it was a turret trade. Mid lane is down, top lane is down. Not too sure yet though. That Brody did get picked off top as well. And speaking of engaging,
We are seeing a clash in the jungle as Peter's picking up another kill on who is Reed. G-Condu coming in from Kush, but the Electo Blow Flash coming in from Blueberry here, doing a good job into the back line. Torn apart memories, not going to make any good memories as the members of Wavo are falling. Double kill into the hands of Peter on this Valentina as they are steamrolling right now 13-3, and now working on this tier 2 top tower with the minions with 4 members currently assembling to go ahead and get this objective out of the way. Novacore doing a good job, and now Johnson crashing in with Kush, a little unwarranted, but a way of the dragon, finding a kill though into the hands of Yuki Non. Torn apart memory, turning him into nothing but a memory, but now the re-engage as well from Jolie Don't Care, trying to find a kill, getting dropped dangerously low in between damage from Wavo and the tower there, a 1-for-0 trade, but now Benedetta trying to escape the damage from Reed, turning the fight into his favor, almost taking him down there. Gonna go in with the eye for an eye, not gonna connect. Reed with a flash, gonna try to stun, but gets outplayed by Blueberry, who turns that 1v1 into his own little victory. Now gonna have the ability to push down this XP lane tower.
Absolutely beautiful plays though by both sides of the EXP lane. I mean, if you have seen it, every single one of these team fights, by that neutral objective turtle, by that fight, by that blue buff on the side of Huevo, all EXP laners have definitely been rotating very quickly. And speaking of rotations, I mean, Valentina is just OP right now. Been picking off every single person they could possibly think of on the side of Huevo. That Johnson is a very good tank as a sustain, but as mid lane, he ends up falling a little bit too short. He's a little bit too squishy. I mean, his sprint is already burnt, so he already has no mobility in escaping that team fight. And Brody, currently that Brody's 2-on-1, and that Carry is sitting at 1-2-3, but I'm pretty sure Carry's gold is going to be a little bit higher compared to that Brody from all those pickoffs that just happened on the side of Novacore. Speaking of a little bit of an invasion going on here by the side of Novacore, blue buff is now down, so now keep in mind, just want to let you know that Kaja has been down 5 times in less than 10 minutes. That is already enough for a snowball to happen. And speaking of snowballing,
we are seeing more members fall there. The way of the dragon coming out from Cho to secure Ash on this kill. Reed with the fist crack there. Double kill going to the hands of Yuki on the Brody. Now the onslaught for the triple kill there. That's 3 members down from the side of Novacore, all at the hands of Yuki Non on the Brody here. They're going to go ahead and start pushing that mid, but not before Nobody Tron starts working on this Lord. Does pick it up with the Carmilla, and now is wisely going to go ahead and retreat, but no, the links come down. Johnson with the Crash OnlyFans subscription on the way. Weak trial at your service as Nova Ash is getting pressure down to the tower, carrying them, trying to defend against the onslaught. No members down there from the side of Novacore or Wavo, but Nobody Tron now applying the pressure. Jolie Don't Care on the carry, making his way over, but in the bot side, we are seeing a push there by the Benedetta on the Bedang for the tower here. Another 1v1 in between the XP laners. The stun coming in with the fist crack from Reed. Not going to find the kill just yet. 3 members are going to go ahead and collapse on this bot. Dang, that's a kill falling to the hands of Nobody Tron on the Carmilla of 4'5" currently on the map. Now the Terrified from Valentina from Peter, looking to get a kill on Kush, who's going to be able to escape now. The damage going on OnlyFans, but now the drive, the drunken driver right here, who is Peter on the Johnson, the I am you and you are me, circling around, looking for the crash here, living around about, going to go ahead and crash now into that wall berry, but OnlyFans again looking for another journey, another trip, another expedition. He's looking for the members, finds Peter here. Kush with the way of the dragon, going to find the kill, but not before the Colt Alder pops, and now the links as well, but the fist crack going to find all the members on the wall of 4 man G-Condu, but at what cost? 4 members from the side of Wavo down. No, make that 3 members down from the side of Wavo. Nova Ash going to find Yuki Non, so it is now just Kush left alone to defend against the onslaught. The 4 members of Novacore plus Lord, as they know the game's now in the bag. Nothing Kush can do, as they are going to look through and close out this game. Wavo's going to be snuffed out in their appearance in King of the Hill, as they will go ahead and take down the Nexus. Nice, slow, and control, but not before they pick up Kush to round out this match.
Very interesting play. Like I mentioned before, when it came to that drafting phase, it was very interesting. And I did point out as soon as I saw that draft that Valentina is definitely going to bully a lot of the people. And please, yeah, so it is very interesting game for both sides, but like I said, that Valentina push-up was just definitely not it. Like, just pressured Huevo too much, and giving that Valentina that free space, that free pool to be able to copy all those single target ults, it just put the side of Huevo at such a disadvantage. And with that being said, Kush was on Chow Room, and we all know Chow Room. It is it's been meta. It's been meta for the past couple of seasons. Chow Rome is not bad at all, but with that comp, like I said, that forcing a Valentina into all those single target ults is just a big issue for the side of Huevo. I mean, they had no like AoE CC. I mean, the only thing a person I could think of would be that Badang wall and then that Johnson. But the thing is, to execute that perfectly, Johnson would have to crash, I don't know, from like a back door and make sure all the members are caught in his CC. I mean, his CC is already annoying. It might not be like a big CC going on, but that slow is actually nasty. And if that Badang was just to follow up with that wall and that ult that he could have done, that Iron Fist coming through, I mean, things could have turned out a little bit differently. But what are your thoughts, Deku?
I mean, inside of Wave, I don't really know what we saw there. Didn't look like there was much focus on this match, especially from the drafting, and definitely not from the gameplay. The highlight there was just a little preview of their OnlyFans link there. Didn't look like it was much, though. Definitely didn't impress the side of Novacore as they quickly got rid of that link and went ahead and deleted Wave's chances of securing a victory in King of the Hill.
Absolutely, but props to side of Novacore to be able to draft very well in that team fight. I mean, they did pick up that Valentina as soon as they saw it open, and knowing Novacore, they're obviously going to pick up every single thing they could possibly pick up. I mean, you know, and the only thing that the side of Huevo can do is look for those tiny mistakes, but those tiny mistakes weren't, unfortunately, in the favor of Huevo.
Definitely a good game indeed, and man, oh man, to kind of see that closeout over there from the side of Novacore to take out Huevo with almost that wipeout was insane. So appreciate everybody tuning in. There was a brand new game update, so make sure you guys update your games. That Franco skin may be on the way here soon. I've seen a little commercial about it, and that's super exciting. But speaking about exciting, getting to see these teams compete today definitely shows you how much they've improved since the first week in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. That's right, guys. We are on week 4. That is 1 month in since we embarked on this journey with the MLSA. For those who are brand new, my name is Weezy. I'm your host. Also cast here and there. Alongside me on the amazing Mobile Legends Scrim Academy team, we have Coach Deku, who's been casting as well, and also doing some analyst things on the side. We also have Rim, who snuck in, brand new caster on the scene, which is awesome. Speaking of new casters, we got Eunice, also joining the casting crew for the MLSA. And like I said, only 1 month in, definitely hitting some huge milestones, and I appreciate everybody that's kind of been a part of this journey. As you know, it starts here. This is only the beginning as we are preparing for future NAMPL. The whole focus for the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy is to get these teams ready to compete on a professional level. Get ready to be see some new casters kind of shine, perfect their craft, and possibly see them in NAMPL as well. So it's definitely a warm-hearted welcome to all the new members on the team and to all the new teams on the MLSA. Like I said, my name is Weezy. I appreciate you guys. We are going to cut it short as there is a huge game update, so everybody's going to have to update their games before they can even jump inside of these lobbies. So take this time, spend it with your family. Definitely enjoyed you guys spending your time with us, the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy family as well. For those who are interested in signing up, all you have to do is join us on our Discord server, the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy Discord server. You can register there even if you're a solo player. We have a place where you guys can register to look for teams. All you have to do is do a post with all your stats on it, and some of these amazing teams that you've seen compete today, we'll definitely take a look at it and possibly pick you guys up. If you already have a team, that's an even further bonus. You guys can register that team right now and be competing against some of these teams you'll be seeing on the professional scene, as we are seeing the Discord link being dropped in all social media platforms. Shout out to Rim, already on top of it, kind of dominating in that fashion. And like I said, we really appreciate you guys, man, and from the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy staff, we want to wish you guys a happy holidays. As always, thanks so much for spending your time with us. We will be live again tomorrow, as we will be doing scheduled scrims and a lot of amazing teams on the board. But today was King of the Hill. We do this every single Monday and Wednesday. The rules are super simple. I'll let you guys see that here. If you guys are interested, you have to register on the Discord server first. That is step 1. Once you're officially registered, every Monday and Wednesday, we host King of the Hill. What that is first come, first serve, best of 1. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday from 8 p.m. Eastern time. Sign up. What are you guys waiting on? Get ready for future NA events for Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and join us, the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, as we progress forward into 2023. As always, I'm your host. My name is Weezy. I appreciate you guys. Happy holidays, and we'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys later. Peace.